right, so boom, it's January 1st to be specific, right? And I know what you're thinking. You're like,
new year, new me, clean slate, let's do things differently.
However, I'm actually going to strongly advise you to not do too much this month and to definitely not do the most, all right? Because the astrology, it ain't set up for that, all right? This is going to be a month that may be a little frustrating, a month where things move a little slower. However, it's a month that can truly set you up for the rest of the year. And that is the most important thing to remember about January 2025. So if you want to know more about what's going on and how best to use the energy, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If this is our first time meeting, welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and sound therapist, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this is the video that's going to be discussing everything you need to know, astrologically speaking, for the month of January 2025. All right, so as the intro sort of alluded to, this is going to be a month when you're not really supposed to do the most, okay? I know that society has conditioned us to believe that January 1st, you got to hit the ground running, you got to do everything on your to-do list, you have to start all of your New Year's resolutions. But when you look at the astrology, this is a month where you're sort of getting things ready behind the scenes, where you're not only getting your mind right, but you're also getting yourself into this mode of receptivity, okay? Everything about the astrology of January 2025 points to the fact that it's an inside job. Rather than getting on the treadmill, starting a new business, or doing anything like that, you have to get right within before you can see right and change without. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the details and see exactly what January 2025 has in store for us. All right, so if I had to sum up the energy of January, or sort of the theme for the month, I think I would call it structure, systems, and spirituality. All right, so when I looked at the astrology initially, there were two things that stuck out to me, or should I say three. Number one is kind of the obvious, right? In January, we begin with the sun in the sign of Capricorn. That's where the structure comes in, right? Capricorn is serious. It's success driven. It's all about sort of setting a goal and then being willing to put in the work in order to achieve that goal, right? So that's the first thing that stuck out to me. The second thing that stuck out to me is the fact that most, if not all, of the planets, except for one, I should say, are in all feminine signs this month. Now, what exactly does that mean? It means that rather than putting forth energy externally, right? Like, let's say we had majority planets in masculine signs. Masculine energy is very expressive. It's very action-oriented. It's very sort of out there, extroverted, if you will, right? By contrast, feminine energy is more receptive, it's quiet, it's inward focused. So with majority of the planets in feminine signs this month, it's like the universe is saying, listen, rather than doing everything externally, the real work begins internally. And so that's why January is a month where rather than just hit the ground running, you're kind of going to be forced to sit down and plan. Plan, not just mentally, but like I said before, get right within, okay? Now, the third thing that I should mention, right, is that we're starting the year with a retrograde. So Mars went retrograde back in December of 2024. And so we start off this new year with Mars still retrograde. As a matter of fact, Mars will be retrograde until toward the end of February. And Mars is the planet of force. It's the planet of physical exertion. It's the planet literally of action. And so with Mars retrograde, no matter where Mars is in your chart, it's like, slow down, take several seats. This isn't the time for action. This isn't the time to do the most. This isn't the time to exert external energy. Whenever any planet is retrograde, we take that energy and we direct it inward. So Mars is like, listen, conserve your energy. Since it's the planet of force and energy, directing that inward means to rest. It means to, pump your brakes. It means to stop. It means to chill the fuck out. Okay. So this is the energy that we're sitting in the month of January. And I like this, right? Because so many of us have resolutions. So many of us have plans that we want to execute. So many goals that we want to achieve in this new year. January, it's like the universe is saying, all right, cool. I hear what you're saying. I know what you want to do. I know what you desire. I know what you want to achieve, but chill. You're going to need that energy later to do the doing. Right now, rest, conserve your energy, and get right within. And I love that because getting right within literally means sort your shit out. Sort your shit out. Put a plan together. Get a system, which is the realm of Capricorn. Get a system and get a structure in place so that you can create the world that you want within so that you could see it in your outer reality. And we have some extra help with that this month because we have a significant amount of Pisces energy. Okay, so let's get into that. Pisces is the ultimate spiritual sign. Pisces is the sign of the other world. It's ruled by Jupiter and by Neptune. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Neptune is the planet of the ethers, right? This is the realm of dreams. This is the realm of spirituality. If you're familiar with the universal laws, you'll know that as above, so below. That is the law of correspondence. So the as above part is definitely the realm of Pisces. And so this month we have not only a planet that's going to take up residency in Pisces, but we have a major astrological event. This is like the first major astrological event of 2025. We have the North Node moving into Pisces, and this is really going to help us get on the right path. All right. And so when we're talking about Pisces energy, we're talking about going within. Pisces is the realm of emotions. It's the realm of our inner world. It's the realm of our subconscious. So if you are someone who's looking to make a change, and I dare say that's most of us because clearly it's the top of the year when everyone wants to make change. Not only is that change an inside job, right? This is really the best time to reprogram your subconscious. Tell yourself a new story. And Pisces is really going to help us out with that. So when I talk about this theme being structure, systems, and spirituality, we're talking about everything happening within the month of January that's really going to allow us to set ourselves up for success. That's the fourth S in this theme, success in 2025. All right, so now let's get into the details of what the astrology is looking like this month. All right, so the very first thing we have going on in the month of January is that Venus is moving into the sign of Pisces, and this is happening on Thursday, January 2nd. All right, and so Venus in Pisces is a really good feeling kind of transit. Okay, Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces, meaning that she is treated like an absolute queen. When a planet is in the sign of its exaltation, it's literally like going to someone's house and they're throwing a party in your honor, right? You are the guest of honor. So you are treated like a king or a queen. And that way you can shine. You can be yourself because literally everyone is there for you, right? So when Venus is in Pisces, this is when Venus really shines. This is when Venus is kind of the most Venus, okay? And so what does Venus cover? Venus covers money. It covers relationships. It covers equality and fairness at the very baseline level, okay? And so with Venus and Pisces, it really turns the love meter up quite a bit, all right? Because Venus and Pisces is all about love. It's about love for humanity. It's about romantic love. It's about the love, the perfect picture of love is what Venus and Pisces is all about, to basically put it into a nutshell, all right? So how does this help us in the month of January and beyond, all right? Venus in Pisces can have you doing two things. The most important thing that Venus in Pisces can do for you is that it really gets you to see the bigger picture of love. So if you are someone who's like, listen, this is the year where I want to get booed up. This is the year where I really want to be in a relationship. Or this is the year where you're like, I really want to get my money situated. Like I want to get my finances in order. I want to make more money. Venus in Pisces allows you to see the bigger picture of that. Not only will it get you to see it through rose-colored glasses, meaning that it'll have you dreaming and imagining the best possible case scenario or the best case scenario when it comes to money and romance, okay? But it also allows you to take love and money to a higher level in the sense that you're not just looking at it from a day-to-day kind of mundane perspective. You're really looking at it from an ethereal point of view. This is important because remember, let's just say this, remember, everything is an inside job. As above, so below. So Venus in Pisces helps you tackle the as above part. So this is when you really want to get into your money-making rituals. You want to get into your self-love spells, no judgment, but doing love spells on someone else, not necessarily the best thing to do. Start with self and then everything else will follow. All right. So it kind of gets you in your spiritual bag when it comes to securing the bag and when it comes to love and romance. So that's a great way to start out the month. It's like, all right, what do I want my love life to look like? What do I want my financial situation to look like? Venus in Pisces is definitely going to help you out with that. All right. So then next on January 6th, we have Mars going back into Cancer. So like I said before, Mars starts off the year in retrograde, okay? Now, Mars began its retrograde cycle in the sign of Leo. And now in January, Mars is moving back into Cancer, all right? So Mars in Cancer, not necessarily the best feeling kind of transit. So, I was talking about Venus in Pisces before, and Venus is exalted in Pisces. So she's treated like a queen in the sign of Pisces. Mars in Cancer is kind of the opposite. Mars is in detriment, or is it in fall? Now, Mars is in fall in Cancer. And when Mars is in fall, or when any planet is in fall, it means that it's in the sign, or it's in the opposite sign of its exaltation. So the sign where Mars would be treated like a king would be Capricorn. And so the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer. And so Mars in Cancer is in fall. And what that means is that it's kind of like going to someone's house who doesn't like you, okay? Not only are you not the guest of honor, the person is treating you like shit, okay? It's sort of the worst case scenario when it comes to a planetary placement. So Mars is super uncomfortable in Cancer, okay? Mars in Cancer is like, Mars wants to get things done quick, fast, and in a hurry. Mars is very laser-like focused on what it wants. When Mars is in Cancer, Mars can't get things done because emotions get in the way, okay? So Mars retrograde is really about us slowing down, but it's also about getting us in touch with our feelings, particularly feelings around anger, frustration, rage even. So with Mars retrograde in Cancer, number one, it's getting us to take several seats and take a rest. Number two, it's getting you to be familiar with the emotions of anger and frustration and how those can actually fuel you to get things done. Although this isn't the time to get things done, understanding how you can use anger to propel you forward is going to be an excellent way to use Mars retrograde. All right, so rest and understand what fuels you moving forward, okay? Next, on January 8th, we have Mercury moving into Capricorn, all right? Now, the focus this month with the sun is Capricorn and Aquarius, because those are the two seasons that happen to be in the month of January, all right? So wherever Capricorn and Aquarius are in your natal chart is where you're going to see an emphasis, right? It's where you're going to feel an emphasis. It's where things are kind of going to heat up because that's where the sun is going to be, okay? And then on January 8th, we've got Mercury moving into Capricorn. And with Mercury moving into Capricorn, this is the transit that's going to help set you up structurally and systematically to, give a nod back to the theme that I gave before for the rest of 2025. All right. Because Mercury is like the putting plans together. It's thoughts, it's brainstorming, it's all of that. And with Capricorn being so success driven and motivated by a desire to ascend, to elevate, to, move ahead in life, right? Mercury in Capricorn gives you the possibility, or the opportunities, I should say, to think of a master plan. It's not so much that New Year's resolutions usually don't come to fruition, right? It's usually because you don't plan for them. Typically, they're like pie in the sky things. Oh, I want to lose weight this year. I want to make more money. Okay. How are you going to do that? What steps do you need to take? What steps do you want to take? What obstacles are you going to face when it comes to achieving this goal? Mercury in Capricorn gives you the opportunity to answer those questions and to take a dream, this amorphous dream, and turn it into an actual plan that you can follow. All right. So use Mercury in Capricorn for that purpose. While you're resting, while you're not doing the most this year, put a damn plan in place. It's like, what is the saying? It's like, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Something like that. You know what I mean. But yeah, like, put a plan in place. That'll make the rest of the year go a lot more, I don't want to say smoothly, but this is not the year to be like raw dogging it or just, oh yeah, whatever happens, happens. Nah, this is the year where you need to be grounded in where you're going, what you need to be doing. And thankfully, not only does the astrology of January help you with that, but Mercury in Capricorn will really help you with that. All right, thereafter on January 13th, we have the full moon in Cancer. All right, so this is the full moon of the month. So full moons illuminate, they also culminate, meaning that this is the stage of the manifestation process when things come to fruition. All right, so you're going to want to look at where Cancer is in your chart. This is the area of life that will be illuminated under the light of the full moon, or perhaps something that was hidden may come to light. Now, Cancer is the first of the water signs. Water is emotions. Full moons are super emotional. So this is going to be a moon, or a full moon, I should say, that will likely be full of emotions, right? This is one of those full moons where you probably feel extra sensitive, extra moody, all of that good stuff, all right, for better or for worse. However, Cancer represents our basic emotional needs. And wherever Cancer is in your natal chart, this full moon may shed light on whether those basic emotional needs are being fulfilled or not. So it's definitely going to give you some valuable information when it comes to that. On the culmination side, Cancer has to do with emotions, right? Mothering, nurturing. With full moons culminating things, you may find that something is coming to fruition or something is manifesting that you've been nurturing, perhaps since the new moon in Cancer in 2024. So perhaps over the last 6 months, you've been nurturing something, working on something, and you may find that at this full moon in Cancer, this is when it comes to fruition. All right. Either way, it's going to be an emotional moon. So be prepared for that. And if you want to know more about that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I come out with the dedicated video for the upcoming full moon in Cancer. Next up, on January 19th, the sun is going to be moving into Aquarius, heralding Aquarius season. All right, so wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart, this is the area of life that's going to be activated on January 19th. All right, and so Aquarius is the sign. Whenever I hear Aquarius, I think quirky. Aquarius is out of this world. They march to the beat of their own drum. A lot of people think that Aquarians are like alien-like, that kind of stuff, right? But what I love about Aquarius energy is that it is unique. It really fosters you presenting your unique and quirky side, all right? But apart from that, Aquarius energy is very much concerned with improvement and innovation. So wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart, this is the area of life come Aquarius season where you can improve and innovate things. Now, Aquarius also governs things like astrology, technology, AI. So you may find that these kind of topics or themes are definitely highlighted once the sun goes into the sign of Aquarius. But either way, the best use of the energy for Aquarius season, improving, especially wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart. And then shortly on the heels of the sun moving into Aquarius, Mercury will be moving into Aquarius on January 27th. All right. So when Mercury was in Capricorn, we're thinking of a plan, right? We're putting a system in place in order to achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves, either for the month, the quarter, the year, whatever. And then when Mercury goes into Aquarius, now we're sort of taking things a step further. Rather than just thinking about the systems and the things we have to do on a daily basis to achieve those dreams, now we're thinking of the future. Now we're thinking of improvements. Maybe we're taking the plan that we created while Mercury was in Capricorn and we're building upon it. We're making it more efficient. We're improving upon it. Maybe we're even using something like Chat GPT to suggest things to bolster this plan, right? What I love the most about Mercury in Aquarius is that it really gets you to think outside of the box. It jailbreaks your mind so that you can think of things that maybe didn't exist before, that weren't possible, and that can take you into the future. So just based off of Mercury's activity within the month of January, we're really sort of getting things in place and taking things into the future. And you see how, or you should see or understand why it's important that you don't do the most this month. The doing that we're doing this month is very mental, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. Everything that we're doing this month is sort of an inside job. So before you hit that treadmill running, right? That was sort of a play on before you hit the ground running. That was kind of corny, so don't come for me. It's not just enough to go to the gym and just get on the treadmill. It's like, all right, what's our plan for this year, right? How many pounds do we want to lose or how many pounds do we want to gain? Okay, we want to tone up. What exercises do we need to do? What diet plan do we need to have? What apps, aka Mercury in Aquarius, what apps can I use to make this process easier or better or to help me track things, right? That's the sort of mental work that we're doing this month when it comes to our goals. And then when it comes to our spirituality, like, all right, I have this dream of losing weight and looking good and being healthy, right? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What should I meditate on every day in order to facilitate this goal? What subliminal can I listen to that will really get me in the right frame of mind and attuned to the right frequency to make this happen? Baby, these are the things you should be doing this month. Now, substitute whatever goal, but the process and the format remains the same. All right. So that's Mercury in Aquarius. And then 2 days later, on January 29th, we have the new moon in Aquarius. So the new moon of the month is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. And we all know that new moons are about planting new seeds and setting new intentions. And so again, wherever Aquarius is in your natal chart, these are the type of seeds that you're going to want to plant. All right. That's number one. Number two, Aquarius is all about innovation. So what do you want to innovate? What do you want to improve? You're going to plant those seeds at that new moon in Aquarius. All right. And then that same day, we have the first major astrological event of the year, which is the North Node moving into Pisces. All right. Whenever I think of the North Node in Pisces, it reminds me of the North Star that the three wise men followed to find baby Jesus, right? It's this really spiritual, this really destined sort of feeling, right? And this particular transit, meaning the North Node in Pisces, this is going to last for 18 months. This is going to last until June of 2026, all right? And so essentially what it means is that we have the ability to really get in alignment with our North Star, okay? Now, you're going to want to look at where Pisces is in your natal chart. This is where, over the next 18 months, you're going to experience fated events. You're going to be guided to do certain things to get you into alignment, perhaps with your highest self or with your life's mission or soul's purpose, right? Like this is where we really let the forces of the unseen guide us. You know, Pisces is very spiritual because it requires you to have faith in the unseen. It's about embarking on the journey even when you can't see the destination. It's all about faith, right? And so beginning in January, it's like, listen, as much as we want to drive the car, meaning that as much as we want to control and micromanage everything that happens in our lives, North Node in Pisces is going to remind us that we work in tandem with spirit. We co-create with spirit. And there are times where we're going to have to let spirit drive the car. There's times where we're going to have to relinquish control, surrender, and let spirit take care of everything. And this begins on January 29th. So again, get ready because things are about to take an interesting turn. Because when spirit drives the car, honey, not only sometimes are you driving at 200 miles an hour, sometimes you're going in a direction that you never even anticipated. But the journey is just as important as the destination. And we begin this wild ass journey this month in January. All right. So again, to go back to the theme of the month, systems. What was it again? It was 3 S's. I know it was structures, systems, and spirituality, right? Clearly, not only is Venus in Pisces, but the North Node in Pisces goes into that spiritual bucket, all right? And so again, this is all an inside job. And again, this begins on January 29th, all right? And then finally, to close out January, on January 30th, we have Uranus going direct in Taurus, all right? Now, Uranus in Taurus has been like a bull in a china shop since 2018. So wherever Taurus is in your natal chart is where you've been experiencing sudden changes, upsets. You know, Uranus energy is like a thunderbolt, okay? And so when we experience Uranus energy, it's surprising. It can be jarring. It can be anxiety filled because that's the universe's way of moving things around in our lives. All right. So take a look at where Taurus is in your natal chart. This is where you're going to experience, now that Uranus is going direct, this is where you're going to experience sudden changes, upsets, that thunderbolt-like energy. Now, the one thing I'll say about Uranus and Taurus, since it's been there since 2018, it's really been pushing us out of our comfort zone. Now, Uranus is set to actually leave Taurus in 2025. Not for good, but it's going to do a little peekaboo thing into Gemini later this year. So everything that we've been experiencing since 2018 with Uranus and Taurus is sort of wrapping up. Uranus and Taurus isn't just shaking you out of your comfort zone for no reason. Uranus and Taurus is sort of getting you aligned to where you need to be. I call Uranus the hand of God. God knows where you need to go, what you want, all that good stuff. And sometimes us in our limited capacity, we think we need to do this or have this or whatever. And God's like, not so much. Let me help you out with this a little bit. And sometimes that happens in a very jarring sort of way. Uranus and Taurus, Taurus being a fixed sign, a sign of stubbornness and stability. It's like there are things you've been holding on to that the universe has tried to slap out of your hand probably several times since 2018, all right? And so with Uranus direct, that erratic sort of energy is going to return, but it won't be there for long. And remember, whenever you do experience any upsets, sudden changes, or surprises in the area of life that's governed by Taurus in your natal chart, understand that it is for a purpose. So just let it happen. Ride the wave, as crazy as it may feel, all right? And that is the astrology for January in a nutshell, all right? So now, let's talk practical, right? So let's talk about what we can actually do with this energy. All right, so let's talk practical action steps, all right? Because the purpose of this channel is not just to give you information, but it's to give you information that you could immediately use, right? I don't want to just spew astrology jargon hoping that you understand it. This is like, all right, this is what's happening. What can I do with it? So in the month of January, like I said before, if I were you, there's 3 things that I would do. Number 1, rest. Prioritize resting. I feel like like I said before, we always want to do the most come January. It's like we want to hit the gym. We want to start eating. It's like we try to take on so many new things at once. And the one thing that one of the things that the astrology is teaching us or telling us this month is to prioritize rest. Okay. So that would be number 1. Number 2, put a plan in place, okay? So before you start signing up for subscriptions online, before you start going to the gym, before you start buying anything, put a plan in place. What do you want this year to look like? What do you want to experience this year? And perhaps what steps do you need to take in order to facilitate those goals? Here is a pro tip, okay? So you can do this in one of two ways. You could either do this as like a journal entry or as a voice note or a video diary. I want you to sit, and especially if you're watching this at the very beginning of January, or even if you're watching it somewhere in January, I want you to do this exercise, okay? I want you to sit and imagine that it is December 31st, 2025. What transpired over this past year? How do you feel? What did you learn? What did you accomplish? Write it as if it is December 31st, 2025. Speak it into a voice note, like talk to yourself and say, oh my gosh, today is New Year's Eve 2025, and I did this, I did that. 2025 owes me nothing. I got the best out of it, whatever it is. Imagine yourself on that day and what you accomplished and what you learned, and speak it into existence. Either write it, do a video diary, or a voice note. All right, that's the pro tip for this month. All right, and that speaks to number 2, which was planning. Number 3, meditate, pray, and use your imagination. With Pisces being a major player this year, right? Not just because Venus will be in Pisces in January, but because the North Node will be in Pisces for the entire year, imagination, prayer, and your inner world are definitely going to be emphasized. So as such, use them. Remember, as above, so below. Create whatever you want in your physical reality within. Get into subliminals, which are phenomenal when it comes to reprogramming your subconscious. Get into a regular meditation and or prayer practice. Now, I like to do both. Prayer is the speaking, meditation is the listening. Getting into some sort of regular practice when it comes to that sort of clues you in as to where spirit is trying to take you. Remember, this is going to be a year where we really work in tandem with spirit. I mean, we always do, but this is the year where it's going to be highlighted. So getting into a regular meditation and prayer practice is going to be key. And then use your imagination. Pisces is all about the imagination. It's about fantasy and illusion. Imagination isn't just for kids. Like, we need it. You know what's so interesting is that we have no problem imagining the worst. And then the worst happens and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Yeah, because you imagined it. Use your imagination for good. Imagine what 2025 could be like. Imagine you boot up. Imagine you getting a promotion. Whatever it is, use your imagination and do it on a regular basis. I'm not going to say, because we're in Capricorn season, I want to say like, structure your imagination, meaning set aside time to imagine like on a daily basis, but that's a little too limited. Just use your imagination. Have fun with it. Imagine the best case scenario. Feel what it would feel like to already have the thing or be the person. Have fun with it. All right. But all in all, when it comes to January, it's an inside job. Don't be doing the most. Don't be running here, running there, paying for this, doing that, because you're going to find that doing those things, it's going to be an exercise in futility. It's just, it's not really going to move the needle in the way that you hope that it will. What will move the needle? Getting right within, creating your world on the inside, planning, structuring, and setting up a system to actually achieve your goals. Doing that in January will put you miles ahead of where you think you could even be. All right. So that's what I would do if I were you this month. All right, my loves. So that concludes this video on the astrology for January 2025. I sincerely hope that you were able to at least get one important piece of information that you can use going into the month. All right, for information on my products and services, you know where to find it. It's either linked below or tagged to the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the absolute best for January and beyond, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.